This woman, Michelina, found herself buried in a box while she was still alive. Michelina Lewandowska, who was 27 at the time, met her fiance Marcin, who was 25, at a store in Poland, where Marcin approached her and they start dating. The two fall in love and they end up moving from Poland to England to start their new life together. They moved in with Marcin's parents, and Marcin ends up proposing to Michelina with a diamond ring. She says yes, and they secure steady jobs and live their dream lives there in England. Michelina ends up getting pregnant, and they welcome a bouncy baby boy to their great family. After a couple of years living together, things start to go south for this young, beautiful family. Marcin's personality starts changing and he starts going to the gym and using steroids. This changes his temperaments, and he and Michelina start arguing a lot about literally everything. They seem not to have a common ground anymore. A once happy family turns sour and everything changes. At this point, when Marcin is at the gym, he starts hanging out and hooking up with other ladies. Marcin starts seeing his fiancée as boring. He loses interest in her and just doesn't feel her anymore. As a result of all the arguing and misunderstanding, the relationship breaks and Michelina decides that she wants to move back to Poland. She decides that she's going to take their son, who is at around 3 years old now. Marcin definitely wants the relationship to end too, but is worried that Michelina will get full custody of their son and that he won't be able to see him. This worries him and he decides to come up with a plan to get rid of Michelina. To execute his plan, he decides to invite Michelina to shopping. At this point, Michelina is very excited, thinking that maybe Marcin has finally decided to change and give the relationship a chance. She starts to imagine how she won't have to move back to Poland and how they'll get married and make their family and relationship work. At this point, Michelina is very optimistic and ready to give the relationship another chance. She then gets ready, wears her makeup, and steps out to meet Marcin. To her surprise, Marcin isn't alone. He is with another guy who he introduces as Patrick. Marcin tells Michelina that Patrick will be joining them for the shopping. Of course, this is not okay with her because she knew this was an opportunity for them to fix things, and how was that possible with another party around? Something smells fishy at this point. Before she even knows it, Marcin pulls something from behind him, and it is a stun gun. He tells her that he's going to show her how to use it, but before she even realizes, Marcin zaps her with it at the neck and she falls down passing out. Marcin continues zapping her a couple of times just to make sure that she doesn't wake up. Marcin and Patrick then tape her legs and hands and her mouth, just to make sure that she doesn't escape should she come to. They then put her in a big cardboard box and they seal it with tape. They load the cardboard box in Patrick's car trunk and drive away deep into the woods. They then carry the box and throw it down a hole in the ground which they had dug previously, meaning they had been planning this for a whole while. After throwing it in, they start burying the box with shovels they had obviously carried. At this point, Michelina in the box regains consciousness and she realizes that she's being buried alive. She can hear Patrick and Marcin throwing sand down. She is so freaked out at this point, but doesn't want to make any noise because then Marcin will hear her and maybe just decide to kill her. She doesn't want to risk, and instead she waits for them to finish. Marcin and Patrick finish burying the box, and as if that isn't enough, they drag an 88-pound tree branch on top of the grave so that she doesn't escape. After this, they drive away, leaving Michelina to die underground. In the box, Michelina is very scared, but she is determined not to die today. She makes sure that Patrick and Martin have left before she starts finding a way of escaping, cause she has to. It is at this point that she remembers that she's wearing a diamond ring. She immediately takes it off and uses the sharp edges of the diamond to cut the tape around her wrist. When she finally manages to do that, she does the same to the tape around her legs. After this, she starts slashing and cutting at the cardboard ceiling above her until she slashes a small hole in. She starts punching at the hole as hard as she can. She punches and punches and punches until she punches through it. She continues punching and punching and punching until the hole is big enough to get her head through. She then pushes her head through and her hands as hard as she can, and she finally manages to come out. This is good for her, but now she is dirty and tired and in the middle of the woods, and it is dark. The only thing that matters at this point is that she is alive. While she's standing there confused, she hears music off from a distance and she starts walking towards the sound. She realizes it's coming from a pub, and before she can actually reach the pub, she reaches a road and stops a car which is passing by. She then explains all this to the man in the car, and he calls the police to report Patrick and Martin. The police investigate the whole incident and they end up arresting both Patrick and Martin. Martin gets arrested and sentenced to 20 years in prison for attempted murder, while Patrick is sentenced to 4 years in prison for kidnapping. We thank God for saving Michelina. Thank you guys for watching. For more videos like this, kindly make sure to like, share and subscribe. Bye!